The Panzervärnsbandvagn 2063, or PvBv 2063, stands as a testament to Sweden's innovative approach to military engineering during the Cold War, blending lightweight mobility with lethal anti-tank firepower. Built on the versatile Bandvagn 206 platform, an articulated, all-terrain tracked vehicle developed by Hägglund and Söner, the PvBv 2063 was designed to counter the armored threats of a potential Soviet invasion. Introduced in the late 1980s, this variant transformed the BV-206's troop-carrying chassis into a missile-armed hunter, mounting the advanced Bofors RBS-56 Bill anti-tank guided missile system. With its low ground pressure, amphibious capability, and exceptional maneuverability across Sweden's rugged landscapes, the PvBv 2063 became a niche but vital asset in the nation's defense arsenal, embodying a doctrine that prized agility and terrain exploitation over brute force. At its core, the PvBv 2063 retained the BV-26's signature design. Two articulated units linked by a flexible joint, powered by 4 tracks and a Mercedes-Benz OM6023 diesel engine, delivering 136 horsepower. Weighing around 7,000 to 7,500 kilograms when fully equipped, it could reach speeds of 52 kilometers per hour on land and 4 kilometers per hour in water, traversing snow, swamps, and forests with ease. Unlike the standard BV-206, which carried up to 17 troops, the PvBv 2063's rear unit was reconfigured to house the Bill missile launcher and a small crew of 3 to 4, driver, commander, and gunner or loader. The Bill system itself was a standout feature, offering a 152,200-meter range and a top-attack warhead that struck tanks from above, where armor was thinnest, a direct counter to Soviet T-72s and T-80s. With a wire-guided semi-automatic command-to-line-of-sight system and likely thermal optics for night operations, the PvBv 2063 could carry 2 to 4 missiles ready to fire, plus additional reloads, making it a potent ambush predator despite its light armor, which offered protection only against small arms and shrapnel. The PvBv 2063's deployment was closely tied to Sweden's Cold War military strategy, which emphasized territorial defense and deterrence across its vast, sparsely populated northern regions. Assigned to anti-tank units within mechanized and light infantry brigades, it operated alongside other BV-26 variants, such as the PvBv 2062 with its 90mm recoilless rifle, and heavier platforms like the Panzervärnsbandvagn 302. Its primary mission was to provide rapid, mobile anti-tank support in areas where traditional armored vehicles struggled: deep snow, boggy marshes, and dense woodlands. The vehicle's ability to deploy quickly via road, rail, or even amphibious insertion allowed it to set up ambushes along likely Soviet advance routes, particularly in the Baltic facing north and along the Finnish border. During exercises, it likely worked in tandem with infantry and artillery to create layered defenses, using Sweden's natural terrain as a force multiplier. While exact deployment numbers remain obscure due to limited public records, the PvBv 2063 was a specialized tool rather than a mass-produced mainstay, reflecting Sweden's focus on quality over quantity in its neutral stance against superpower aggression. In the broader context of Swedish warfare doctrine, the PvBv 2063 exemplified the nation's total defense philosophy, which relied on a dispersed, resilient force capable of prolonged resistance. Unlike NATO or Warsaw Pact strategies that leaned on heavy tank formations, Sweden prioritized lightweight, adaptable platforms to exploit its geography: rivers, forests, and archipelagos that could bog down invaders. The Bill missile's top attack capability was a technological edge, designed to neutralize the numerical superiority of Soviet armor without requiring direct confrontation. This fits seamlessly into a doctrine that avoided large-scale offensives in favor of attrition and guerrilla-like tactics, ensuring that even a small vehicle like the PvV 2063 could punch above its weight. Its role was less about holding ground and more about disrupting enemy momentum, buying time for heavier assets or reserves to respond, a classic example of Sweden's asymmetric approach to warfare. When compared to regional competitors, the PvBv 263 held distinct advantages and limitations. Against Finland's XA-180 Pasi vehicles, which occasionally mounted Tau missiles, the PvBv 263's tracked design and bill system offered superior mobility and lethality in snow-covered terrain, though the wheeled XA-180 was faster on roads, up to 100 kilometers per hour. The Soviet BTR 6070 series, widely used by Warsaw Pact forces, carried ATGMs like the 9M14 Malyutka, but their heavier weight and reliance on direct attack missiles made them less effective against modern armor and more vulnerable in Sweden's soft ground. The PvBv 263's closest analog might be the West German Raketenjagdpanzer Jaguar, armed with hot or tow missiles, yet its tracked, armored chassis was far heavier. 25 tons versus 7 tons, sacrificing the Swedish vehicle's agility for protection. Regionally, the PvBv 263 carved a niche as a lightweight, terrain-adapted missile carrier, though its light armor and limited missile load left it exposed to counterattacks if spotted. By the early 2000s, the PvBv 263's relevance began to wane as Sweden's military priorities shifted. The end of the Cold War reduced the immediate Soviet threat, while advancements in anti-tank technology, such as the portable Javelin missile and integrated systems on the CV-90, offered greater flexibility and firepower. Phased out of active service, likely by the 2010s, the PvBv 263 was relegated to reserve status or scrapped, with some BV-26 chassis repurposed for logistics or export, e.g., Ukraine received donated BV-206s in 2022. Today, as of 2025, it's unlikely to remain operational in Sweden's arsenal, though a handful may survive in museums like Arsenalen in Strängnäs or as training relics. Its legacy lives on in the BV-206 platform's enduring global use, but the PvBv 263 itself has faded into obscurity, a Cold War footnote overshadowed by modern multi-role vehicles like the CV-90 Amos or Archer artillery system. Overall, the PvBv 263 was a specialized success within its context, a mobile, missile-armed answer to a specific threat in a unique environment. Its strengths lay in its unmatched terrain adaptability and the Bill missile's cutting-edge design, making it a formidable ambush weapon against heavier foes. Yet its light armor, limited missile capacity, and eventual obsolescence highlight its narrow role, ill-suited to the evolving demands of post-Cold War warfare. Compared to regional peers, it offered a balance of agility and precision that few could match in Sweden's subarctic wilds, but it couldn't compete with the versatility or durability of heavier platforms. As a piece of Swedish military history, the PvBv 263 reflects a nation's ingenuity in leveraging technology and geography to defend its sovereignty, even if its time in the spotlight was brief.